All right, welcome everyone. Today we are going on a journey, a quest really, to find the absolute biggest, most massive animals to ever live on planet Earth. We're talking about creatures so huge they almost feel like they're from a sci-fi movie.
So let's just get right to it. The big question. What is the single biggest creature to ever live? What comes to your mind? A dinosaur, right? Maybe some kind of legendary sea monster.
Well, let me tell you, the answer, it's probably not what you're thinking. So let's dive in and meet the contenders for the title.
All right, so here's how we're going to do this. We're going to do a tour of the Titans, counting down some of the absolute biggest players in history. And we'll kick things off with some of the most fearsome predators ever known.
Okay, kicking off our list at number 10. We're heading way back to the age of dinosaurs, but we're not staying on land. Nope, we're diving deep under the waves. Meet the Mosasaurus. Now, first thing to know, this wasn't a dinosaur. It was a gigantic marine lizard. And when I say gigantic, I mean it. This thing was the absolute top dog of the late Cretaceous oceans. You gotta think of it like the great white shark and the killer whale of its time, all rolled into one terrifying package.
So what made it so deadly? Well, check this out. It had double-hinged jaws, kind of like a snake. That meant it could unhinge its mouth to swallow enormous prey whole. At around 14 meters long, this was a true sea monster that had absolutely nothing to fear.
All right, coming in at number 9. Ooh, this one is a true legend, an icon of the deep.
You guessed it, it's the Megalodon. And look, this wasn't just a big shark. It was the shark. For millions of years, it was the undisputed king of the ocean. Its main job? Hunting whales.
This thing could reach up to 18 meters long, but its real claim to fame was its bite. Scientists estimate that Megalodon had the most powerful bite force of any animal ever, powerful enough to literally crush the bones of the whales it hunted. Just incredible.
Okay, we've been in the water. Let's head on to dry land for number 8. And here, we're going to meet the largest mammal to ever walk the Earth.
This is Paraceratherium. It was basically a massive, hornless rhinoceros that lived millions of years after the dinosaurs died out. And while it was a peaceful plant eater, its size was, well, anything but peaceful.
Get this, it stood over 5 meters tall at the shoulder. That's high enough to peek into a second-story window. It weighed up to 20 tons. This gentle giant would just browse on treetops, kind of filling the same role that the giant long-necked dinosaurs left behind.
All right, number 7. Now we're talking about the largest predator to ever walk the Earth. And no, it's not who you think it is. It's not T-Rex.
Meet Spinosaurus. This beast was not only longer than a T-Rex, but it lived a totally different life. It was a semi-aquatic hunter, a true river king. One of the coolest things is that a pretty recent discovery showed it had this incredible paddle-like tail. That's the proof right there that it was a powerful swimmer, hunting giant fish in the massive river systems of ancient North Africa. This was a predator that was just as at home in the water as it was on land.
Okay, we've seen some big animals so far, but now we're entering the real land of the giants. We're talking about the sauropods, those iconic long-necked dinosaurs that just pushed the absolute limits of what's possible for a land animal. And up next, we have a real clash of the titans.
So, in the number 3 spot, we have an absolute icon of prehistoric size.
Argentinosaurus. For the longest time, everyone thought this was it, the undisputed heavyweight champion. To give you an idea of just how big we're talking, a single one of its backbones, its vertebrae, was over a meter tall, the size of a person. Just wrap your head around that.
But in the world of paleontology, things are always changing. And recently, a new challenger stepped into the ring to claim the title.
Patagodotitan. The amazing thing about this one is that it was discovered much more recently, and we have more of its skeleton. That means we can confirm its staggering length, 37 meters. That's longer than a professional basketball court. Its leg bones were built like massive pillars, just to hold up all that weight.
So who is bigger? Honestly, it's a huge debate among scientists. Argentinosaurus might have been a bit heavier, more bulky, but Patagotitan has the confirmed record for length because we have more of the bones. At the end of the day, we're just looking at 2 of the absolute most massive animals to ever walk the Earth.
But wait, what if I told you there's another contender? A sort of ghost in the fossil record. A creature so enormous, it sounds almost mythical.
Let me introduce you to Marapunosaurus. Now, the story here is wild. We only know about it from a single enormous fossil bone that was found way back in the 1870s, and then it was lost. It disappeared. But based on the drawings that survived, this thing could have been 50 meters long and weighed over 100 tons. That would dwarf everything else on land. But without the actual fossil, it's just this tantalizing, incredible mystery.
Okay, we've seen sea monsters, giant rhinos, and dinosaurs that literally shook the ground. But believe it or not, none of them are number one. It is time to reveal the undisputed all-time champion of size.
Okay, let's start with its length. We're talking 30 meters. That easily puts it in the same league as the longest dinosaurs.
But here is the number that just blows my mind. Its weight, over 170 tons. That's more than double the weight of Argentinosaurus or Patagotitan. How is that even physically possible?
So what is this creature? This unbelievable titan from some lost ancient world? Well, here comes the biggest twist of all.
The largest animal to have ever existed is not extinct. It's alive, right now. It shares the planet with us today.
That's right. The #1 largest animal of all time is the blue whale. It holds the undisputed record for pure mass, outweighing every single dinosaur that ever lived. And its secret? It's the water. The buoyancy of the ocean supports its incredible weight, freeing it from the crushing force of gravity that puts a hard limit on how big you can get on land.
And just to really put its size into perspective for you, its heart alone is the size of a small car. You could literally swim through its largest arteries. It is truly, truly life on the most epic scale imaginable. So, that leaves us with a big question. How? How did any of these animals get so incredibly enormous? What's the secret sauce for becoming a giant? Well, the answer is all about some brilliant tricks of evolution.
Take the big dinosaurs, like Argentinosaurus. One of their key innovations was having air sacs inside their bones. It's a lot like modern birds. This system made their massive skeletons incredibly strong, but also surprisingly lightweight for their size. It was their secret weapon against gravity.
And why even bother getting that big in the first place? Well, being a giant comes with some serious perks. For one, you're pretty much safe from predators. You can reach food that no one else can touch, and your huge body is actually super efficient for traveling long distances. So you see, being huge wasn't just for show. It was a winning strategy for survival. So think about it. We are living on a planet, right now, that is home to the single largest animal that has ever existed. It's an incredible thought. But as our world keeps changing, it leaves us with one last big question. Has Earth already seen its last giant, or are we just living in the final fleeting age of the Titans?